to my channel. Today I'll be sharing a few different items that I recently picked up at my local thrift store. I'll also be showing you step by step how I make over each item. I haven't done a thrift store video like this here on my channel in a really long time, so I'm super excited to show you everything today. If you enjoy thrift store videos like this, please give this video a thumbs up, and I would love to hear in the comments down below if you're wanting to see more thrift store videos here on my channel. If you guys want to see all of the items that I picked up and how I make them over, then please keep watching. The first piece I'll be showing you that I picked up from my local thrift store is this large red tray. I paid $2.99 for it, and for the size of this tray, that is a great deal. I didn't notice when I was at the store, but once I got home, I noticed there was a crate and barrel tag right on the back side, so definitely a great find. For this tray, I knew I wanted to have it a more neutral color, so to make it over, I went in with my folk art chalk paint in the color Persian Gray, and I painted my entire tray in this color. And I did use two different size paintbrushes. I used this larger paintbrush for all of the larger areas on the tray, and then I used this smaller paintbrush around all of the inside edges. This was just able to help me get a little bit nicer strokes around all of the smaller areas on my tray. I did 2 coats of paint on the entire tray, and I was actually kind of surprised that I didn't have to do more than the 2 coats since this tray was such a bright red color, but this folk art chalk paint works really great and I definitely recommend it. And then here I am just painting the back side the same color as well. Once all of my paint was completely dry, I'm then centering this Home Sweet Home stencil that I picked up from Joann Fabrics right in the center of my tray, and then to secure the stencil, I'm placing 4 pieces of painter's tape along all 4 sides of the stencil. Next, I started painting on my folk art chalk paint in the color Java using my Dollar Tree stencil brush. I used that same Java color on all of the words on this stencil, and this stencil did come in a pack of stencils from Joann Fabrics, and they are great quality, and I'll try to have those linked down below in the description box if you guys are interested. Once all of my paint was completely dry, I then peeled off all 4 pieces of my painter's tape and then removed my stencil. I was going to leave my tray just like this, but then decided I wanted it to have more of a rustic look to it. If you guys have seen any of my videos, then you know I love the rustic farmhouse style. So here I'm just taking my Dollar Tree stencil brush once again and that same Java colored chalk paint, and I'm dry brushing it around my entire tray. I'm doing all of the outside edges, the inside edges, and then I am taking it along the front of the tray as well. And I did do my strokes in a bunch of different directions. I did up and down, side by side, and then to make the tray a finished product, I did do the same dry brushing along the back side of the tray as well. Here's my tray all made over. I don't plan on using this piece as an actual tray. I think I'm going to add a sawtooth hanger along the back side of this tray and then use it as a wall decor piece. The next thrift store item I'll be making over is this wooden crate. This crate was also $2.99, and I knew I had to get it when I saw it because it has so much potential. All of the wood was in great shape. There wasn't any wood chipped away or anything, so it was definitely a good find in my book. To make this crate over, I've already washed it up really good because it was really dirty when I got it. And then I started by painting it with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. I did have to do 2 different coats of this paint on to get this wood color all covered up, but I wasn't really too precise on my painting, and I did have a few little drip marks here and there, but I was okay with it because I want this crate to have a really rustic look. Once this paint is completely dry, I then took an old towel and this folk art wood tint in the color Gray, and I applied it to my wood crate just like I would a wood stain. I put it on the wood and then wiped it right off, and this is really nice because it's washable with water and doesn't have any like really nasty smells like a regular wood stain would. Once that was dry, I then took my Dollar Tree stencil brush and my Java colored chalk paint from Folk Art, and I dry brushed this on the crate anywhere that I wanted it to look aged and worn. So I didn't dry brush it on the entire crate, just in the spots I wanted it to look distressed. Next, I'm wrapping 2 pieces of jute and tying a bow around the very top of these 2 mason jars that I already had at home. I'm then placing the jars in my wood crate and then adding some of these lavender stems that I picked up from Walmart. I wanted to add something on the front of my wood crate, so here I'm using a scrap piece of wood and I'm spraying it with my Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint. I did have to do 2 coats of this paint to get it covered really nicely. Once that was completely dry, I then wrote with my Dollar Tree chalkboard marker, Fresh Flowers. What I love about this is I'm able to switch out the words that are on the front of my chalkboard, and I can switch out my flowers in my jars for each season. To attach my chalkboard, I'm using some hot glue on the back side of the chalkboard and then pressing that onto the front of my crate. Here's my wood crate all made over and transformed. I'm so happy with how it turned out, and I love how I'm able to switch it out for each season by switching up the words on the chalkboard and the florals in the jars. The last thrift store item I'll be making over today are these 2 gold candlesticks. They were $2.99 a piece, and they are such good quality. They're really heavy, so I was super excited when I found these. To make these candlesticks over, I started by painting them with my folk art chalk paint in the color Java, and then after I had both of the candlesticks all painted, I ended up changing my mind on how I wanted them to look. So I'll have them all painted in this Java color, and then here you'll see me painting over that Java color with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. I painted 2 coats of this color on the candlesticks, and then in a few different spots I had to touch it up with a 3rd coat, but that was only in a few spots. Once both of my coats of the plaster color are completely dry, I then took my Waverly chalk paint in the color Hazelnut on my Dollar Tree stencil brush, and I dry brushed that on both of my candlesticks, and I focused most of the paint on the parts of the candlestick that stick out. Then wherever there's a crease on my candlesticks, I used this small paintbrush and that same color Hazelnut, and I painted a line around all of the creases. As you can see here, just by adding the hazelnut color on top of the plaster color, it's giving the candlestick a lot of dimension, and it's already starting to look more vintage and aged. Once I have the hazelnut color all on, I'm then taking my folk art chalk paint in the color Castle and my Dollar Tree stencil brush once again, and I'm dry brushing this color on top of everywhere that I just painted that hazelnut color, and I'm taking my small paintbrush once again, and then in all of the creases over top of that hazelnut color, I'm painting on the Castle color. By adding this 2nd color onto the candlestick, this is really going to add a nice vintage look. Here are my candlesticks all made over. I ended up adding 2 candlesticks with a little bit of Spanish moss for springtime. I can't believe how good these look. They look just like the ones that you could buy at Hobby Lobby or Kirkland's for a lot more than just the $2.99 a piece price. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it. It really helps out my channel. If you're not subscribed, I hope that you would consider subscribing. Be sure to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And if you guys want to see more thrift store videos here on my channel, I would love to hear in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching.